I'm going to go ahead and show you the earring that we're going to make today, because we're going to need this to make sure that this other earring is the same length. So I'll have it laid here beside me as I'm creating and using this as measurement. But what I am using is the Serengeti Curated Bead Box beads. Just put this right here. I have this amber glass bead. I've got one of the, let's see, what did they call these? They're just a gray brown gemstone bead. And then one aventurine. Of course, this is per earring. One of the small painted glass beads, the brown ones, and one of the 6mm, and then a 6mm. I think this came in the mix along with this. A button. This button actually is made from, looks like mother of pearl. We need an ear wire. I'm using 2 of these silver beads and 1 giraffe. I've got about 8 inches of 22 gauge wire and 4 pieces of hemp that measure about 1 foot. And I wouldn't measure any, well, I was going to say I wouldn't measure any shorter, but I think you can go a little shorter. But you'll see that, how much I have left over at the end. All right, let's start creating. So the first thing that I want to do is to get these even on one end, because we're going to thread this. You need a button that's got 2 holes. 4 holes will work too. You just don't want one with a shank, okay? So you're going to feed all 4 of these into one of the holes. So you want to make sure you have a button that's got a big enough hole for all those. Okay, got all but 1 through there. And this can be a little tricky, but just keep fiddling with it and you'll get them through there. There we go. So I'm going to pull them all the way through, even them up. And then I want to tie an overhand knot. And try to get all those through there. And I probably need to go get my crochet hook. I was able to get them all through there, but I'm going to need my crochet hook on down. It just makes it easier to feed all these pieces through the hole. And then I just take each one and pull and make sure the knot is tight. More. All right. So we're this far. All right. I don't need the big bead right now or the ear wire. Oh, another thing, you're going to need a jump ring. Set all those aside. We're going to work with these beads right here. And basically what I did, this having 4 pieces here, I've actually got 8 pieces because it doubled. 2 of the pieces I'm not going to put any beads on. I'm just going to put them to the side and fray them. But the rest of them, I'm going to hang the beads on. And you know, they don't necessarily have to be exact as far as how you do your beads, because when they're hanging, people aren't really going to be paying attention on, oh, the giraffe is on the outside or whatever. Plus the fact it flops around a lot. So it will be different areas. So don't be too perfect on this. Besides, it's boho. All right, so what I did is I took and I put these 2 beads together and I put those 2 beads together. I'm going to go ahead and kind of lay it out. I'm going to try to find the two thickest pieces here and pull them out, because those will be what I'm going to unravel and shred. I think that one looks thicker. Actually, they all look about the same, but we're going to use these two. Okay, so pull those two aside, and I'm actually going to trim them right now. And I'm just going to trim them, kind of using my fingers as a measurement there. And those can be tossed in the trash, and I will shred them or fray them, however you want to call it, later. All right, next thing I want to do is probably put the giraffe on there. And I want him to lay this way toward the outside. Okay, so he's there. The next thing I'm going to do is probably put that bead on there. Pull them up a little bit. And then the gray bead. And then the green bead. Oh, you know what I did? Which one was it? On one of these, I used 2 strings, which was these. I have 2 left over. And try to pick out your thinnest 2 to do that. Hopefully these are, yep, they're going to work. There, I got them. And then the silver bead. Here we go. So I have all my beads on there. And then the next thing I'm going to do, this is where I use my earring, excuse me, as a measurement. And I'm just going to tie overhand knots. Now, you're probably going to need to double up on some of your overhand knots, depending on how big your holes are and how thick your string is. First thing I want to do is get the giraffe. And I'm just going to kind of measure him. And what I did with him is I just wrapped the string back around and stuck it in the hole again. And then, well, no, that's not what I did. Sorry. I just wrapped it around and tied it. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to tie another knot. And my videos aren't really a tutorial or a DIY. They're more of a demonstration. I do have a few videos for people who are beginning, but I think everybody knows how to tie an overhand knot or just a regular knot. So I don't go into much detail on things like that. Basically, it's a design type of video, how I go about designing. I know a lot of people have problems designing, and I just like to show you my process on that. All right, now to tie the rest of these things, I'm going to jump over here. All right, my computer just turned off randomly. I'm not sure what's going on there. I hope that's not an indication of, Terry, you need to get a new computer. I am not ready for that right now. Anyway, let's see if I can finish these earrings. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tie an overhand knot here. And this is where your crochet hook will come in handy. If you need it, if you don't, that's fine. But sometimes I find that I can feed those ends into the hole a lot easier. Okay, I need to slide that knot up. Let's see how far I need to get that. A little bit further. I need to go get my little straight pin. Those things work really well for stuff like this. All right, good enough. I pull these ends, and then I'm going to test to see if that bead's going to fall off. And it's not. These are great. Make sure I'm losing my beads. Now I'm just going to trim that off. All right. Now, I'll set him aside. I'm going to tie, I'm going to wait for him. I'm going to do these two. This one I've gone a little bit longer. You kind of want them variated lengths. You don't want them all the same length. Okay, I'm going to probably need to tie another knot there because look. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to tie another knot. It could pop off there. I don't want my beads popping off. Whoops. And you probably hear some chattering in the background. It's my granddaughters and their mom. All right, got that tied. Now let's work on the gray bead. See how these I have them different lengths? All right. Okay, I'm going to finish tying all these knots because I think you kind of get the idea. And then I will be back to show you what I do next. All right, now that I have them all tied, I need to trim them a little bit. And again, just kind of using the guide of my other earring. Go ahead. I trim them a little bit longer than I want them because I will be trimming again. So then what I do is I untwist them. You want to make sure you're not twisting them tighter. You want to twist them looser. And you'll see the fibers kind of come apart. And then you can either get a straight pin, I'm using a bead reamer, and just pull apart those fibers, like so. See how I was kind of doing that? That's why I trim them a little longer, because I'm going to need to trim them again. And some of these fray easier than others. This one actually wasn't too bad. And I've never tried this, but I bet if you had like a really tiny fine-tooth comb, you might be able to do this with that. Okay, once you got it like that, you're going to trim it off again. And then fray all the other pieces here. I'm going to finish fraying those in a little bit. I want to go ahead and finish showing you how I make this earring. So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to take a piece of 22 gauge wire. It's about 8 inches. And you're going to put it in the top hole. Now if you've got 4 holes, make sure it's the hole directly above. So then you'll have a hole on each side here. Okay? So you put that in the hole and even it out. And then you're just going to twist. And they don't have to be a neat twist, just twist it all the way up until you run out of wire. Okay, once you get up to the top, kind of smooth it out. You're going to take your bead. Now you need to make sure that your bead has a big enough hole that it can go over both of those wires and feed down. Come on. There we go. I was going to say, the other one did it. This should do it too. Okay, so you're to here. Now, you could do one of two things. You could wrap the bead and have your wrap be underneath here. I want my wrap to be on the top. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers. And I'm going to leave a little section here so my wrap will go around, but just a little section. Just wrap around very messily. And then I'm going to go ahead and clip these off and tuck the ends in. And once I get those tucked in, I just feel around to make sure that I don't feel anything sticking out, because that wire will scratch your neck and that is not comfortable. Okay, I don't think I feel anything, so they're tucked in pretty well. All right. The next thing, we're going to hang our earring. We need to make sure that this loop is going in the right direction. This one is. I had a really hard time trying to figure out if I want this to be the front or this to be the front. They're going to flop around, so it doesn't matter, but you do need to make sure that you do hang them the same. So I've got it going in the right direction. I'm going to open up my jump ring. Got it opened up. Put that on. Put your ear wire on. Like I said, make sure you got everything going in the right direction. Close it up. And we have our boho earrings. Now, I made another pair of these, and I put them in my shop, and they went, boom, really, really quick. Oh, I've got to fray those ends out. Let me do that, and then I'll be back with some pictures. But I do want to thank you all for joining me today. Let me know what you think of these boho earrings. I am putting them into the contest that Curated Bead Box is hosting. The Serengeti March Curated Bead Box competition, and I'm going to go ahead and enter these earrings and this necklace that I'm wearing. I'm actually planning on wearing these today. I got to go to the doctor, and I'm going to wear this set. Let's see, here we go. But isn't that going to be a fun set? Let me finish these up. I'll take some pictures. And y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, signing out for now. Bye-bye.